Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Omara. Today I wanted to share with you a wonderful story about how we know our goals are beginning to manifest. And it really comes back to this wonderful story that when I get kind of cranky because things don't seem like they're going my way, I just hear Spirit say, remember, he was screwing you nicely. So that's the story I'm going to tell you today. I just want to let you know that I did do your day 22 finish up on the 22nd day of the free fifth dimension activation and blessing. I just didn't get a chance to do a video, and we had another fire right next door to us yesterday, and there was fire and smoke and dust and fire and wind, really strong wind. So now I have a chocolate brown car instead of a silver one, but hopefully it'll rain this afternoon. It'll all go back to normal. So and I'm just not sure. My life is in, because the things are changing. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do another 22 days next month being February. But I will certainly, if I can, I'll do that. But if not, my strongest recommendation is to come here to this YouTube channel. You will see a subscribe button and a bell button. If you click on that bell button, it'll notify you if I do it. And the thing about it is that I don't have Facebook on my phone. I can't, because it cuts off all my international calls when I'm making them. And so I only have it on my computer, and I can't always get on my computer. So, but I can always do a video from my phone and upload it from my phone. So I may even just move my work across to here. So if you want to continue to receive these videos, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, like it if you love it, send me a comment, ask if there's anything else you'd like me to do stuff on, because I'll probably move across to here just because of my gypsy lifestyle. This is a much easier way for me to stay in contact with you. So let's just begin by taking a big, long, slow breath in, filling up your tummy with air, and then I'll let it out with a bit of sound. We're just going to do that a few times. And one more time. And we'd like to call forth pure God Source, the seraphim and cherubim angels, Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and the apostles Thomas and Philip. We'd like to call forth all of our highest spiritual healing teachers, guides and angels. We'd also like to call forth the Arcturians, the Syrians and the Lyrans, activating the sun, the earth, and your own divine I am presence, activating the big golden crystalline pillar of light that streams up from the center of Mother Earth all the way up, encompassing all of you, all your aura and all your energy, and continuing on up through the sun, the central sun, and the great central sun. And I'd like to ask you today just to keep breathing into your heart while I share this wonderful, very funny, but very real story. This is a real thing that happened to me about 8 years ago in Melbourne, and it was my first sign that my goals were being manifest, but I didn't know that at the time. I was just angry because something had happened, and I'll explain all that in a moment. But that's really what I wanted to show you. The first sign that your goals are starting to manifest is that your old life, or things from your old life, seem like they are falling apart. They seem like they're falling apart. So and so I want you just to continue to breathe into your heart. And let's just imagine you're breathing deep into your heart and into your divine I am presence, but then you're also going past your conscious mind and into that super conscious mind, or that other conscious mind that knows everything. Your conscious mind will process 40 bits of information a minute. Your unconscious mind, or your super conscious mind, or your other conscious mind, I like super conscious mind, can process like 40 billion bits of information. Or it's actually 10 million bits of information in a minute. So big difference, and everything that has ever existed exists within your super conscious mind. So even if we just imagine you're stepping from your conscious mind into your super conscious mind, and keep breathing into that, let it go. You'll feel your body just expanding immensely. And this is a good place to be if you want to, do some of your I am affirmations, or if you're wanting to create more money, more love, more joy, more peace, more happiness in your life, because it's your conscious mind that contains your program, and your superconscious mind is where you can reprogram your entire life from that place. So while I'm sharing this wonderful story, I'd like you to just practice connecting into your divine I am presence and your superconscious mind, and then just letting it go with your breath out. Focus on the breath coming in through your nose and out through your nose, or out through your mouth if you're releasing. My voice will be containing healing activations to help you achieve your goals and dreams while I tell you this wonderful story. So when I lived in Melbourne, I lived with this beautiful, beautiful lady for about 8 years. She'd been kinder to me than anyone else in my life had at that point in time. And I lived there in a bungalow in her backyard. And I should have moved out a long, long time before that. But I had a little dog, which was originally her dog, but she took her back to Lost Dogs Home, and I went and picked the dog up because I couldn't stand the thought of it being beaten again. He'd been beaten so badly. And anyway, he became my dog and she became the grandma. And I knew that she really loved Jack as well. But I kept having these visions of waking up in this beautiful stillness with these rolling green plains and a rooster crowing first thing in the morning. And then I'd wake up in freezing cold Melbourne. And I just knew it was time to leave Melbourne, but I just was caught between this vision that I was having and then the fact that I really, really love Johanna. And I really loved it. Anyway, so the story goes that I woke up one morning and I'd had this dream, and she had a son who was a passive-aggressive person. He's one of those people who looked really kind and sweet, but he was one of those people who would stab you in the back first chance that he got. And so I just didn't like his energy. It wasn't that he wasn't good-looking or anything like that. He wasn't good-looking, but he wasn't not good-looking. It's just that, and I don't see people from what they look like. I see what their soul's like, and his energy used to make my skin crawl. But anyway, so I have this dream. You can imagine how I felt when I had this dream, that I had been making love with him. I woke up and I'd been making love with him, and it was really beautiful. We're making love beautifully. And I woke up going, oh, yuck, yuck, yuck. Just the thought of it just made me feel like, oh, what the hell did you give me that vision for, God, So, but within about 24 hours, he came by, and I was blessed because I lived in Kew, which is a really lovely suburb, for $110 a week. But he came along and said, I'm going to put your rent up from $110 a week to $150 a week. And if I'd known then you can only put people's rent up 5%, I would have told him that. But I didn't know that until later years of my life, when I was telling this story to someone and they told me that. But I just sort of said to him, look, I happen to know, and he goes, and it's going to start for us of next week. And I just said to him, look, I happen to know my rights, and you have to give me that 2 months notice, or 2 months notice at least in writing. And so he said, okay, well, it'll start in 2 months' time. And I just sort of said, that's ridiculous. It's not worth it. And it wasn't worth it. It was really old and crumbling and falling down, but I stayed there because I loved Johanna. Anyway, so, and he sort of said, well, you either pay me $150 or you go to the real estate agent and they'll charge you $200 a week. And it certainly wasn't worth $200 a week. But anyway, so back, and after he'd said I didn't have to pay it for 2 months, he would start the increased rate in 2 months' time. I was still mad. I was still angry. And I was angry for like 2 days. And I didn't know why I was angry, because I basically didn't have to pay it for 2 months. And I figured that I might find somewhere else in the interim, because I wasn't really going to stay and pay that much money. I could have paid more, but I just didn't want to stay there and pay that much money for something that was so tiny, and really, it was really quite run down. And I had lived there for 8 years, and the carpet was threadbare when I got there, so it was much worse 8 years later. But anyway, so I'm mad as all hell for a couple of days, until I finally said, okay, God, and when I'm this angry for this long, I know there's something I'm missing. What am I missing? What are you trying to teach me here? Which is what I always do. And it said that's a really good philosophy to learn. If you're angry, if you're out of sorts, anything, because you feel everything, no matter what's going on outside of you, some higher part of you created this in order to teach you something, really. And the madder you are, is what I've found out, the angrier you are, or the more pissed off you are, the more there is something there for you to learn, and something that you're missing. So I sit down, do this big meditation. It takes me ages to get out of my anger and into meditating. And I was like, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to teach me? And these are the words that I want you to remember. Remember, he was screwing you nicely. And I was like, what? What? Remember, he was screwing you nicely. This means now that you can live without feeling guilty, and it's time to move on. And this is your sign. You've been asking for a sign whether it's time to stay, whether to move on. And I'd been in this two minds about it for about a year, because I really love Johanna. I didn't want to leave her on home because she only had this crappy son. She had two daughters, but they never visited her unless they wanted money. We usually came once a year for their Christmas money. And I really loved this lady, and she had been so incredibly kind to me. But she was in her 80s, mid-80s, and she might have been even 88 or something. And she was really starting. She had a little bit of dementia, but her dementia was going a lot, and the son was taking over more and more, and he was not a very nice person. So, and I went, oh, and you will find when you get what it is that they're trying to teach you, all of that anger and stuff just dissipated. Just completely dissipated. And I went, okay, so what's the next step on the journey? And it was within 2 months, because I think what happened, 2 months came, I negotiated with Johanna to only pay him $135, but I only paid 1 week or 2 weeks at $135, and I bound my way up to rolling green plains, beautiful stillness, and rooster crowing in the morning. And that's another story. I'd like to tell you that story maybe in another video. But for today's video, I want you to understand that when you've asked for something new, or you're trying to create something new, or you're asking for higher goals that are different to where you're at now, it's a new goal, you want to go somewhere new. And this has just been brought up because this recently, that's what I can't give you definite things about February, because I can tell things are changing, because I had another, remember, he's screwing you nicely, and it wasn't a he screwing you nicely, but it was just like, remember, it's screwing you nicely. And I went, oh my God, it's the first step. Whenever I hear those words from them, I know that it's the first step, that some of the things I've been trying to manifest are coming to fruition, and my old existing life is falling away. And so, and of course, you can't move on to something new without your old existing life falling away. It has to be that you that you have to make space for something new to come in. So I hope you remember this. This is so important in terms of you being able to manifest something new. Because what happens if we're asking for a new car, a new job, a new this, or whatever, and then say it's a new job is a really good example, and then somebody at work does something really shitty to you, and you just get then caught back down and getting into the semantics of what they did and what they didn't do, instead of just staying connected to your soul and to your higher purpose, which might have been to get a new job or whatever it is. Sometimes we ask for a new job and we get sacked from the one we're in, And I have another gorgeous story about a woman, but I'll tell that another day too, who lost both of her jobs only to get a job that paid her twice as much as the job she had. So anyway, I hope that helps. My deepest love and richest blessings to you all. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell button if it interests you. And I will be in touch via this channel as soon as I can. Namaste, and bye for now.